Hello everyone. In this life, have you ever received a gift when you never thought could exist? A gift that makes your heart pause, that brings both a smile and tears at the same time. Today, Nam came and gave me such a gift. Simple, yet warm enough to melt the chill of these mountain days. Are you curious to know what it is? Then come with me. Let's open this little surprise together. Morning sunlight slipped gently through the bamboo window, spreading its warmth across Nam's sun-tanned face. Inside the small room, with only a green plastic table and an old laptop, he sat quietly, working. The soft clicks of the mouse, the faint tapping of keys, and the whisper of the mountain wind blended together. The familiar rhythm of a peaceful working day. On the screen, rows of numbers and charts filled the space. Nam's eyes stayed focused, his movements slow but steady. Sweat gathered lightly on his forehead, yet he didn't stop. Because for him, this job was more than just a living. It was a quiet pride, the proof that he had built his life back with his own two hands. A moment later, the door creaked open. A co-worker stepped in, holding a stack of papers and a small envelope. He smiled. "Nam, you did great this month. Here's your pay." Nam looked up, smiling softly, his eyes glimmering with quiet joy. The coworker opened the envelope, handing him the neatly wrapped money. "Take it, you've earned it." Nam received it with slightly trembling hands. The amount wasn't much, but to him it carried a month's worth of effort, the weight of sweat, patience, and dignity. He nodded, his voice low and gentle. "Thank you. Looks like we did better this month." The sunlight tilted again, falling across his face. And in that golden glow, Nam smiled quietly, thinking to himself, perhaps this time he'd use it for something meaningful, for someone who truly mattered. After receiving his pay, Nam returned home and sat quietly on the porch. The kettle on the small stove still steamed gently, thin wisps of vapor curling into the cool air. He poured himself a cup of tea, gazing toward the narrow path that led into the mountains, the direction of LyTuCam's small hut. In his hand, the crisp bills were still new, their faint scent mingling with the warmth of the tea, simple yet full of meaning. A soft smile appeared on his lips as he thought of her, the woman who spent her days tending the fields, her hands rough, her face darkened by sun and wind, yet always carrying that quiet gentleness. Each time he thought of her, a tender ache rose in his chest, a mix of affection and respect. He wondered, I hope she's doing well. Still going to the fields every morning? He tightened his grip on the envelope. I should buy her something that truly means something. And then the thought struck him, a phone. In that remote mountain place, when storms rolled in, even one phone call could bring comfort and peace of mind. The idea made him smile. Nam stood, slipped the money into his pocket, put on his helmet, and wheeled his old motorbike onto the road. The small town stretched ahead, quiet and sunlit. He rode past faded shop fronts until he stopped before a phone store. Inside, bright lights glowed against the glass displays. He approached the counter and spoke softly. "Miss, can you show me a phone that's sturdy, long battery, easy to use?" The shopkeeper smiled. "Buying for someone special?" Nam hesitated, then replied quietly, "For a friend." He took his time choosing carefully, and when he finally held the small phone in his hands, his eyes softened with quiet joy. A small gift, yes, but to him, it was a way of saying, out there, among the mountains and rain, there's someone who still thinks of you, always. That afternoon, while I was bent over, pulling weeds around the house, a small knife in hand cutting through the thick grass, I suddenly heard the distant hum of a motorbike. I looked up. Through the thin layer of mist, I saw Nam riding slowly up the narrow slope leading to my home. I blinked, surprised. He rarely came at this hour. He stopped in front of the gate, removed his helmet, and smiled. That warm, familiar smile on his sunburned face. "Working nonstop again?" he said softly, his tone a mix of gentle teasing and concern. I wiped the sweat from my forehead, smiling back. "The weeds grow too fast," I replied. "If I stop today, tomorrow they'll take over again." He stepped closer, taking the knife gently from my hand. "Enough for now," he said. "Take a break. I actually came for something." I paused, a little puzzled, as I noticed the small white bag in his hand, neatly folded with a store's logo printed on it. He set it down on the bamboo table by the porch, his voice calm and low. "I brought you a gift." I froze for a moment. My dirt-stained hands stopped mid-air. I had never received a gift like that, at least not from anyone outside my own family. Looking at him, my voice faltered, uncertain. "For me? Why would you?" He didn't answer right away. Instead, he smiled gently, opening the small bag. Inside was a brand new phone, still wrapped in its clear plastic cover. His voice softened, almost like a whisper. "Up here, the signal's weak, the roads are far. Sometimes, when storms come or something happens, I thought you should have one. So you can call me, and I'll come." I looked at the phone in my hand, and a strange warmth rose inside me. A feeling both tender and overwhelming. Never, in this quiet, lonely mountain life, had I imagined that someone would care for me like this. I lowered my head, my voice trembling. "Thank you, truly." Nam smiled, that gentle smile of his that seemed to melt away all the weariness of the day. He opened the new phone, patiently showing me each step, how to turn it on, how to open the camera, and how to take a photo. His voice was deep and calm, each word slow and careful, as though he feared I might miss a detail. "Look," he said softly, "just tap here, and it'll capture the moments of you and little Joy. Every picture is a memory, so one day, when you look back, you'll see how much beauty you've lived through." I sat still, watching the screen glow in my hands. There, staring back at me, was my own reflection. A woman with sun-darkened skin, hair tied in a loose knot, and a shy, uncertain smile. I couldn't help but laugh quietly, a mix of embarrassment and wonder. Never in my life had I imagined having a picture of myself so clear, so real. Nam chuckled and leaned closer, taking another photo, this time of both of us. The afternoon light fell gently across his face, highlighting the warmth in his eyes, the kindness in his smile. I looked at the photo and felt my heart tremble faintly, not from shyness, but from something deeper. The quiet joy of being seen, of being valued. Nam took my hand again, his voice steady and kind. "And here, this is my number. If there's a storm, or the roads flood, or something urgent happens, just call me. I'll come right away." I tightened my grip on the phone, my throat tightening with emotion. My voice came out as a whisper. I don't know what to say." As Nam was about to leave, I glanced around my small kitchen and said softly, "Nam, could you stay a little longer? I don't have anything to repay your kindness, but I'd like to make something you like." He smiled, his eyes warm and gentle. "Oh? And what would that be?" "Sweet potato fritters," I said, my voice light but filled with quiet warmth. "It's simple, but you once said you liked them." I went out to the small garden, picking a few leftover sweet potatoes from the bamboo basket. Under the cool, running water, I carefully washed each one, peeling the rough skin with my old knife. The fresh, earthy scent of the potatoes mingled with the mountain breeze, soft, comforting, familiar. Nam sat on the small wooden stool, silently watching my every movement. I could feel his gaze, gentle, kind, and full of respect. After grating and mixing the potatoes with flour, I dropped spoonfuls into the pan of hot oil. The sizzle echoed through the small bamboo kitchen, and soon the warm, sweet aroma filled the air. I tilted the pan gently, flipping each golden piece, crisp on the edges, soft in the middle. My rough hands trembled slightly, not from the heat, but from a strange warmth that rose quietly in my chest. When the fritters were ready, I arranged them on a plate and brought them to the table. Nam took it carefully, his smile bright, like sunlight breaking through the leaves. He took a bite, then nodded with a quiet joy. "It's perfect," he said softly, "just like I remembered." I laughed, setting the plate down. Little Joy crawled closer, and Nam lifted her gently onto his lap, breaking a small piece to feed her. That simple, tender moment, the three of us sharing warm food and laughter, made my heart ache in the sweetest way. And right then, I realized, some gifts don't need ribbons or fancy wrapping. Sometimes, a sincere heart and a humble meal are enough to be remembered for a lifetime. After the meal, Nam had to return to the office. He reminded me gently to rest early before leaving. I walked him out to the gate, watching as his figure slowly disappeared around the bend of the dirt road. The sound of his motorbike faded into the whisper of the wind and the familiar scent of the forest. Inside me, a soft calm spread, warm and wistful, like the lingering touch of morning mist. I went back inside, cleared the dishes, then woke little Joy for school. She rubbed her sleepy eyes and giggled as I combed her hair. "Be good today, all right? I'll pick you up after class," I said softly. She nodded, wrapping her small arms around my neck before trotting down the narrow path that led to the village school. Back home, I changed clothes and carried my bamboo basket to the garden. The morning sun filtered through the palm leaves, casting golden patches over rows of glistening green vegetables. Dewdrops sparkled on the leaves like tiny pearls. I knelt down and began cutting bunch after bunch with my old scissors, tack, tack, the sound steady and comforting in the quiet air. The scent of soil, of greens, and sunlight blended together, a fragrance that belonged only to this simple life. I took a deep breath, feeling peace seep gently into my chest. These vegetables were the fruit of my own hands, the reward of long days and early mornings, of sweat and small, steadfast hope. When I finished, I gathered the harvest and packed it neatly into the basket. The sunlight touched my shoulders, its warmth spreading through me. I lifted my head and looked at the sky. Vast, blue, and endless. Another day had begun, calm and full of quiet faith, like a small gift that life, once in a while, still remembers to give me. By noon, sunlight had begun to pour down the small dirt road leading to the market. I slung a cloth bag over my shoulder, carrying a basket of freshly harvested vegetables still cool with morning dew. The scent of soil, straw, and dried leaves mingled in the air. Familiar, simple, and full of peace. At the corner of the little market, I spread out an old mat and neatly arranged the bundles of bright green vegetables. There weren't many people passing by, but those who did often stopped to chat, their voices kind and warm. Smiling, I replied softly, "Picked them fresh this morning. Try some, they're sweet and tender." One by one, the bundles were sold. Each time someone bought a handful, I whispered my thanks, feeling a strange, quiet happiness. It wasn't about the money. It was the comfort of knowing that my hard work had meaning, that the greens I grew on the hillside had become the small bridge that kept my daughter and me alive. When the last customer left, I sat quietly, taking in the sounds around me. The hum of motorbikes, the laughter of vendors calling out their prices, a gentle rhythm of life, noisy yet warm. I opened my bag, counted the few small bills in my hand, and smiled to myself. Maybe tonight, I thought, I'll buy little Shuai a sweet cake. Just a simple treat, but I knew she would be happy. A breeze swept through the market, tugging lightly at the edge of my sleeve. I looked up, toward the winding road that led back home, to our small hut beneath the leaves, waiting quietly in the golden glow of dusk. The sunlight fell soft and kind, as if reminding me that no matter how humble life may be, as long as the heart remains warm, each passing day is still a gift worth cherishing.
Chúng ta vừa cùng nhau đi qua một hành trình nhỏ nhưng lại chất chứa thật nhiều cảm xúc, từ những nỗi buồn, những giọt nước mắt cho đến cả những khoảnh khắc bình yên, giản dị vô cùng quý giá. Cảm ơn bạn đã đồng hành và lắng nghe đến tận những giây phút cuối cùng. Mỗi một lượt xem, mỗi một ánh mắt dừng lại, mỗi một trái tim cùng đồng cảm đều là nguồn động lực để cho những câu chuyện như thế này được tiếp tục viết nên. Nếu cuộc sống còn bộn bề, đôi khi chỉ cần những giây phút lắng lại, ta sẽ nhận ra rằng niềm tin, lòng nhân ái và sự sẻ chia luôn có sức mạnh chữa lành kỳ diệu. Và cũng chính nhờ có bạn, người không ngại dành thời gian quý giá để đồng hành, mà hành trình của nhân vật trong câu chuyện này trở nên trọn vẹn hơn, ấm áp hơn. Dù phía trước vẫn còn nhiều chông gai, nhưng chỉ cần trái tim con người biết hướng về nhau thì bóng tối nào cũng sẽ được soi sáng bởi một tia hy vọng. Xin gửi đến bạn lời cảm ơn chân thành nhất. Hẹn gặp lại các bạn trong các tập tiếp theo, nơi câu chuyện còn tiếp tục mở ra và những bước chân kiên cường, luôn mơ ước lặng lẽ và niềm tin chưa bao giờ tắt. Cảm ơn các bạn rất nhiều. Chúc các bạn luôn bình an.